Welcome.
Uh, Hello everyone. Hello and welcome all on day 3 of Community Day. Thanks for continuing and hoping everyone gets something out of it. Like everyone is joining today's day 3. And so let's start with a thought today, like how this technology, every new technology comes with a new thought, like it will bring something about a good and how it ends, like the internet we had. The founders of internet thought it would be a decentralized, open source, and now how it is being controlled by a few corporations. And again, continuing with other technologies like Web3 and blockchain, which is currently into development today, how it has impacts, like how difficulty it is facing in development, how the teams are facing. So let's welcome Tommy Lee. He is a professional having expertise in banking and supply chain applications. Let's see his perspective on blockchain technology, how this revolutionary and evolutionary powers, how it has and how difficult it is to keep it in good hands and make it a real decentralized. Let's welcome Tommy Lee.
Hi there. Thanks for having me. Yes, it's a pleasure to be able to showcase settlement with everyone and to share my experiences as well as expertise um, with the audiences. First and foremost, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, I guess, depending on where you are. My name is Tommy. I'm a partner executive here at Settlement. Just a brief background about Settlement. We're a company that's based out of Belgium. Personally, I am based in Taipei, Taiwan. Um, we have offices from Europe, the Middle East, India, Singapore, and all the way to Japan. It covers a big geographical area. Basically, we have experts in every region, so to speak. So today's topic is about the difficulties and the bottlenecks that companies face, as well as the how to implement such a technology. Because blockchain technology in itself is very new. A lot of people like the idea, understands the idea, and a lot of people think blockchain technology is, in a sense, Bitcoin or ETH. But it really isn't just a coin or crypto, so to speak. It's more how we can take something that is centralized, that's controlled by certain companies or conglomerates around the world, make it decentralized, which means that um, which means that no one party has control over the information. You have to go through very many parties to agree on um, such information to be valid. So the idea behind blockchain technology and the development is quite fascinating. Ever since everything started in 2012. So here I would like to kind of highlight a couple pain points that companies go through, and just to kind of showcase, to have a little bit, I have some ideas about the difficulties and how settlement can make blockchain development or applications very easy and simple for developers to really take advantage of. So, a couple challenges, like right now, to find the right person, find the right people that have the skill sets in the job market is really, really hard, because there's a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. There's not really a course in school that is taught to how to program everything. So you really a lot to find the right people. It can be very difficult, and a lot of people experiment and research and do a lot of have a lot of ideas, have a lot of concepts, but a lot of times they don't really do anything, make it into production. So a lot of unhappy people, ITs are frustrated, businesses are unhappy with no results. So what we're trying to do, settlement, is kind of bring all those pain points together into a one simple package. So what we're offering, or what we're trying to do, is provide a solution for developers to build easily. So with the platform that we're trying to build, we make everything fast with the right tools. Second, we have where our platform is designed for any type of business, whether it's a SME or a large corporation or enterprise. We have all the right tools to scale from small to large. And the platform itself is designed for developers by developers. So basically, any IT team that is currently in any company can really pick up the knowledge, pick up the tools that we're trying to provide in really easily, really quickly, and to be able to develop an application in a very short time frame. And as a result, the IT teams are happy. They know they can really leverage our tools to build the application that they want. They don't need to go through a extensive training or understanding of how to connect every component together, because there's a lot of components that you have to kind of piece together, whether it's a node or a protocol or a smart contract, integration, storage, keys. So there's a lot of different components, and trying to figure out how to combine them together with no issues. It's a lengthy process. So we're trying to make it simple for IT teams, as well as businesses love to use our tools, because they can really go from an idea to concept to production in a very short time. So typically, this type of idea to production could take up to years, but we could really bring that down into months. So everybody's happy, and makes the development and development process much easier and streamlined for everyone. So that's the basically the mission that we're trying to accomplish here at Settlement. So the blockchain, is the most complete platform for development. Okay, so let's jump to the second slide here. The reason why it's so hard is because there's about 14% chance from an actual idea, POC, to production, based on a study from Gartner in 2020. And a lot of it is, like I mentioned before, is because it's new technology. There's a lot of people that you need the skill set to develop everything, and it makes it really difficult to find the right people, like I mentioned, as well as if there is an idea, companies may, because they don't have the right people, they lose that competitive advantage because of that idea. They can't develop that product, and they don't know what to do. They don't know which tools they need to build that product. So we try to make it very simple for everybody. So basically, from the idea to POC, like I mentioned, it can take you don't have to take a lot of time to build everything. So moving on. So like I mentioned, a lot of the blockchain application fail when they move to production, whether it's skill scarcity, or is it whether it's integration into the existing system, legacy systems, and from a POC, it could be doable, but when you scale it into real world applications, a lot of times it fails. And these are very common problems that when developing an application that developers will face. And there's a lot of bugs in between, how to connect them all together. So the idea behind it, like I mentioned, is we're trying to bring that downtime down, and then be able to have the developers really scale, really build, pick and choose the tools that they need, and have it all integrated together easily through our blockchain platform as a service. So the new approach with what we're trying to do is, like I mentioned, it's 1 in 7 chance of successfully developing a blockchain application into production. So this is, in a sense, we'll lose the competitive advantage, and also lack the execution speed. So we're trying to minimize that to bring that time into several months to be able to implement the idea into actual POC and production. So that's the idea behind the design and the platform itself. Okay, so the best analogy you can think of us as, I'm sure most people have used WordPress. They are a very good tool to build websites. And then also Stripe is a good tool for payments. Think of settlement in the same analogy for blockchain. So what we're trying to do with settlement, what we're trying to do is we have different components that is built onto the platform itself, and you can really pick and choose the components that you need. Similar to Lego bricks, pick and choose the brick you need to build your application. So like I mentioned earlier, we have protocols, we have nodes, we have keys, we have storage. We have a lot of different tools that you can really just pick and choose, and everything is connected in the so you don't really need to have extensive knowledge of how to deploy everything. In a typical scenario, if you want to deploy a protocol and a node on AWS or on any cloud, it could take up to 3 months or longer. So we're trying to minimize that time for developers to do that. Okay. So the idea is like we're a low code platform that provides all the tools to accelerate the delivery of the application. So I'll be showcasing the platform in a bit. So the idea behind what we're trying to do is we're trying to speed up the whole entire process by 10 times faster. We have a lot of use case in production right now, so we have a lot of knowledge and expertise, as well as how to integrate with existing systems, whether it's a legacy system or core banking system or any kind of a supply chain tracking system. We can build our blockchain application with it. So it makes the integration as well as building aspect of the application itself really easy. And you can accelerate the go-to-market and have that competitive advantage over others. So that's the idea behind what we're trying to do here. Okay. So here's kind of like a more tangible perspective of how long it may take, as well as each step of the way of how utilizing our tools can actually speed up the entire process. So starting off, we have so-called the discovery analysis phase. It's to understand in depth about the application you're trying to build and each stakeholder that will be involved, as well as any kind of a Web 2 legacy system that we're trying to integrate together. And then the network development is through the platform itself, which will be the easy part, because everything can be deployed and be up and running in a few minutes. So that I'll be demoing in a bit. And then use case development, depending on the complexity, as well as what we're trying to achieve, it can take up to several days or a couple weeks. And then the integration with everyone that's going to be involved, whether it's a supply chain, there's going to be a lot of people involved, different stakeholders. It could take a couple weeks. So the idea behind the path that we're trying to present here is, instead of knowing all the technology behind it, all the code, all the programming language, as well as the cloud infrastructure, how to place everything in the right, how to have your nodes in the right cloud, in the right environment, and everything. So we simplify it, and to make it easy, it's more, like I said, it's a Lego bricks. You can pick and choose the Lego brick you need and you want, and you can deploy everything in real time and really fast. Okay. So this is more of a snapshot, but I'll go over this in a bit in the platform itself. So we offer basically every major EVM chain that's out there. So we have Bezu, we have Polygon Edge, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon Mainnet, Avalanche, etc., etc. So we offer private, public, as well as test chains. So various different chains that you can pick from, as well as different cloud providers. We have Google Cloud, Azure, and AWS. If you want to bring your own cloud, we do have that option. So it's from the protocol level to deploying on cloud, have nodes in the cloud with different service providers. We have it all covered. So the next step would be the application itself. Okay, so the idea behind this is we have templates that you can pick from depending on the application that you want to build. So let's say it's a intermittent NFT, trying to build a supply chain tracking application, trying to build any kind of a application. We have a template that you can pick from, and you can, depending on the application, you can also bring in your own Solidity code onto our platform to deploy. So based on our templates, we have about 80% of the codes are done, and you can tailor it to fit the exact application you're trying to achieve. So everything is really simple on our IDE, and so it's easy to deploy and to make it a reality. Moving on, we have integration part. So there's two tools that we use. One is Graph. So Graph is the tool that you can index or query information from the blockchain easily. As well as we have the Integration Studio, which is a visual programming application that you can see how everything is deployed from the front end to the back end. So that'll be demoing that in a bit. Okay. And then the next part is scaling your ecosystem. Depending on the application, sometimes there will be more stakeholders joining the ecosystem that you're trying to build. So with our tools, we have real-time scaling available on the platform itself. So you don't need to configure anything. You don't need to change anything. You just have to, depending on the application or the package that you choose, you can scale it from small to medium or medium to large. It will give you more CPU, more memory, and so on and so forth. Next one is monitor and follow up. So everything on the dashboard is relatively easy to see. The platform itself is, at a glance, you can see all the applications running. If there's any problems, you can see there will be notifications. So if you have many different applications running on the platform, it's easy to manage everything from a glance. So you don't have to be jumping back and forth. Everything is can be seen from the dashboard itself. Moving on. So kind of wrap it up. What we're trying to accomplish here is, so Settlement makes blockchain applications really easy because, like I mentioned, it's Lego bricks that you can pick and choose to build your application. And it's really fast because everything has been. We provide all the tools to build everything quickly. You don't have to know the language behind it, and we have everything. We have everything compiled together already. Customizable, like I mentioned, the smart contract library. You can customize the smart contract that we have, use the templates we have, or you can bring in your own template if you want to. But everything is customizable based on the requirements that you need. And integration is we have tools to easily integrate with your website, whether it's a legacy system, any kind of a Web 2 application system, we can easily integrate with that. And scaling is you can scale in real time. So if you need more memory, whatever it may be, we can scale that in real time. And the idea is like the last but not least is you can observe everything from a glance. So from the dashboard itself, you can see how everything's running, if everything's healthy, if there's any problems, everything can be seen easily. So a couple of the use cases that we are working on right now, some are current clients, some are past clients. So obviously you can see a lot of them are in banking and as well as supply chain, as well as other various industries. So we are in a lot of different types of businesses. The reason why a lot of businesses love us is because our platform itself is, you can almost say it's a one size fit all, depending on whether it's SME, a large corporation, enterprise, conglomerate. We have the tools for them to build the application of their choice, whether it's like a supply chain tracking or like a CDBC, CBDC, any kind of token, NFT projects. We have the knowledge and expertise to build such a product. A couple of use cases that we like to share, like Singapore, Standard Chartered, OCBC based out of Singapore. They use our application to build their bond investment, to build their bond tokenization, fractionalization application. So the idea behind this is to have a very expensive product or a piece of real estate, to break it down into small pieces that every consumer, every retail investor can be able to purchase such a product, which that opens up the door to a lot of possibilities for this application. Moving on, NFT projects. We worked with the New York Mets on to build out this NFT project for fans to have more engagement with fans and as well as loyalty. So it's a very interesting project that we have worked on. And then Carrefour, it's a supply chain tracking. So when you go to the supermarket, you see a QR code. When you scan it, you know where the product is from originally, from the farm to the packing house, boxes, logistics, shipping, all the way to the supermarket. You can see everything at a glance. So that the technology behind that is also utilizing blockchain. And then last but not least, ABN Dev is also the same idea, supply chain tracking for beer. So when you drink their beer, you know which farm everything was harvested, when it was harvested, and how it was produced and where it was produced. And so a lot of information that's provided for the customers. So that wraps up the presentation. Here's a QR code. Feel free to scan it. It's a mini book that we have put together about why blockchain applications fail. So feel free to scan it, and then it's a free download. And then I'll jump into the dashboard that I was talking about to kind of give you guys a brief idea about what the dashboard looks like and how people can play around with it. Okay. All right, so hopefully everybody can see the dashboard. So here, this is the demo dashboard that I have put together for this presentation. So like I mentioned, everything you see here, everything can be seen at a glance. So how many blockchain networks are you currently running, how many nodes, private keys, smart contract sets, storage, and everything is at your fingertips. So first of all, we would start off from the blockchain network itself. So like I mentioned, we have various networks that we work with. So here are a couple of them I have pre-deployed. So we don't have to deploy in real time because it does take some time. So we want to keep it let you guys know how it works. So I'll showcase how it really works in real time without deploying everything. So here are the networks that we offer. So we have permission and we have public networks. Some of them also have testnets. So like Polygon, we have testnet here, and we also have the mainnet. So depending on the application, you can pick the testnet or the mainnet based on the protocol you want to try out. So as an example, let's say I pick Avalanche mainnet. I can confirm, and I can give it a name. So for example, demo 1, and you can pick the deployment plan that you want. You can do shared or dedicated, depending on the application. If it's more information that if you want to have more control over the nodes, most people use dedicated. Shared would be just using a node that's shared among everybody. So you can pick shared, and we have different cloud provider that you can choose from. So you can pick AWS, as well as we have different regions that you can pick from. So we have, depending on where you are, you can pick the region of your choice. So for example, for where I am right now, I'm based in Taiwan. I'm in Taiwan right now. So I'll pick Singapore. And then depending on the resource that you need, you can pick the resource pack that we offer here. So we'll start with small, and then I'll give you an idea of how much it costs per hour and how much it costs per month. So once you click confirm, everything will be deploying in the background. Okay, so if I click confirm, it'll be deploying here as well as the nodes. Okay, so that's just how simple it is to deploy a blockchain network and a node. Okay, and so with the blockchain the network itself, when you go in here, when you click on it, it gives you a lot of information about the actual blockchain itself. So when it was deployed, the name, and where is it hosted, and all that stuff. So you can also invite participants to the application that you're trying to build. So like this one I picked is a Polygon Edge. It's a private network. So if you're building an application or ecosystem on a private network, you can easily invite others, organizations, to join your private blockchain network. So it makes it really easy for others to join, and it doesn't make it very difficult to build it out. Okay, so we have different deployment logs. They can troubleshoot if there's any problem. So that's the chain itself, and then we go into the nodes. Let's say it's to the mainnet. Okay, so the nodes itself also gives you a lot of information, as well as the JSON RPC endpoints that you can connect from, as well as the different requests that were made to the node. I haven't done anything here, so there's no requests. And test out the JSON RPC requests, and then the resources, that's how much memory you're consuming, CPU, and just overall health of the node. as well as the logs and deployment logs for any troubleshooting that's required. The smart contract part, like I mentioned, we have different templates that you can pick from. So without deploying anything, I'll just give you guys an idea of what all the templates that we have running right now. We have right now. So you have state machine, you have ERC20 token, you have 721, you have 3643. Also, we have 1155. So a lot of different pre-configured templates that you can pick from. Or if you have a smart contract that you have written, you want to deploy it in our platform, you can pick empty, and then it'll be easily, you can import everything over. Okay. So the same idea, if you want to pick, give it a name, for example, empty, and then you can do shared as well as cloud provider, and then the region of your choice, and then you can pick the package that you want. Okay. So go into the smart contract a little bit here. It's a similar way to present, similar to every, similar to the node and networks. You have details as well as the IDE. The IDE is the where you can deploy the where the template, where we have all the smart contract library and you can pick from. Okay, as well as the resources that's currently using. Is it healthy? Deployment logs, whether it's any issues with the that you want to solve. So the ID itself can be let it load here. So you have different contracts. Trust. So you have different contracts you can pick from in our library. So you have finance, integration, different examples that you can pick from. So here we have the if you want to do supply chain, we have a supply chain template that you can pick from. And then about 80% is done, so you can build off of that. Or if you want to do minor alteration or customizations, feel free. Okay, so that's the smart contract sets. The middleware, we use Graph to query or index information from the blockchain. Some people compare this to REST, but we offer Graph because it's just easier to work with any kind of a Web 2 or any kind of a existing system. So because it has been deployed, and then it's very simple. You click on the node, and then you can deploy it from that point and on. And then the Integration Studio, integration tool, we have the Integration Studio. The same idea. You have the details as well as the connect, how to connect to the integration studio. We have an API call point, so you can use this to integrate, again for me, connect to the system of your choice. The interface itself will let it load. It's a, like I mentioned in the presentation, it's a very visual way to kind of see how from the front, from the start to finish, how the application is running. And so with this tool, you can really see, here's an example here. Let me make this easier to read. So from this, let me see if I can make it smaller. There we go. Okay. So this is an example of minting an NFT. So you can see how, from the start to finish, how the NFT is minted, the entire process. So it gives you a visual example of how everything, how things are run. And so this gives you that really easy tool to configure what your front end stuff to the blockchain, and also the resources that's consumed, if it's healthy, how much memory, CPU, etc., as well as the logs for troubleshooting. Okay, storage, we use IPFS. So Also, the same idea, it gives you a lot of information on when it was created, as well as the API points. And as well, when you go into File Manager, yeah, you'll be able to upload any documentation or any kind of image that of your choice onto IPFS. It's a decentralized storage, as well as the resources that you need, whether it's healthy or not, logs, same idea, any kind of a troubleshooting requirements. Private keys. Similar idea. So we offer two types of private keys. One is accessible ECDSA, and another one is HSM ECDSA. Depending on the application you need, accessible is what most people pick. It's the private key is easy to acquire. HSM is a little bit difficult. Okay, so it's really easy to deploy and running, and so also you have all the details, balances, which node is included, and all the deployment logs and information that you need, as well as the last but not least insights about how everything's running. If there's any like it's kind of like a block explorer, you can see everything what's going on. As well as the last part is the resource cost, how much it costs to run everything. So here's a kind of like a breakdown of how much it'll cost and how much runtime it has been running. Typically, they'll reset every month, so you can see how much it's running, how much it costs, how much it's charging per month. So some people, if there's applications that you don't need running, you can pause at any time. So, for example, if you're deploying an NFT project onto OpenSea, you don't need everything running in the backend once it's deployed. So some people would pause the application. So it's another tool, another advantage to make it really easy to deploy applications or to reduce the costs that's associated with it. So yeah, that wraps up the actual dashboard of our platform. I don't know if there's any questions, but yeah.
Yep. So there is a question from Alex. Like, is IBM also an option?
Sorry, what was the question again? Is
So there is a
IBM?
question from is IBM also an option like Azure and AWS is there? So is IBM also an option?
Yes.
Okay.
So we offer AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. That's from IBM, as well as you can bring your own cloud from other service providers. One thing that I didn't mention is also we offer on premise. So some clients would require on-premise install of our platform. That's also offered, a service that we offer.
And another question is like, where are the documentation on, or any manual about the portal walkthrough?
The how do if I'm understanding the question correctly, is a manual about how the platform operates. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, yes.
Um, I believe on our website salmon.com, with every with the platform itself, we offer documentation that you can click on if there's any questions and how to deploy everything. So, for example, here, a quick example is. Um,
Okay, let's.
so let's say you have deployed a network here. If you want to learn more, there is more information about the platform itself and how to operate everything. So this is also in on the platform itself. They're under Learn More. So if their user have any kind of questions, they can refer to learn more, and they'll be able to solve the question. We'll be able to address the questions. But typically, with this kind of demo, we usually go through it with the client, just kind of have them understand a little bit more because I think it's a little bit rushed today. So there's going to be a lot of questions, especially with the IT team and such. So we typically go through it with them. We'll schedule a session that would be probably the best way to kind of address any kind of questions that they may have.
Okay. So on the portal we can get the walkthrough for the portal, right?
Sorry, the on the
On the website, like on the
yeah.
settlement website. There. Okay. And about learning, like how do you say like blockchain? I feel its learning graph is pretty steep. Like it is a pretty complex idea to understand, and going for the implementation part of it, like which is the concept or which is the part of blockchain which makes it more complex, like its hash or its nuances, or which is the topic you feel for a blockchain which is making it difficult for the development part.
I think the tough part, I think, not necessarily the technology, but I think it's having everything work with each other, having everything connected with each other. That there's usually a lot of bugs that's trying to figure out like which cloud service that you want to host this. You're trying different options, and for example, we host it on. We have the option to have it on AWS, but with AWS, there's a lot of different applications that you can use to host on their cloud. So trying to figure out the right one. So that takes a lot. Takes a while to kind of test it out and to figure out what works best. So we want to take that complexity and that difficulty out of the equation, so the users don't have to figure that out. We figure it out for them, so they just have to deploy, and makes it really simple for them to build it from zero to the application itself. Yeah.
And another part, like how do you feel like is blockchain, isn't it lagging behind? Like it has been in the market since a long pretty decade around, and it is still not in the foreground, it's still in the background. Like it's very rarely being discussed, and few of the projects, like major part of the projects are working. Like cloud is pretty foreground now, but still blockchain is pretty less discussed, less understood, and less developed. So what is it like you feel it's been doing, or it's not there in the market, or we are not doing it well to make it more market friendly?
Um, I think so far with the to start have an idea, starting from scratch to write all the codes, understand the codes, host it on the cloud of your choice, and just the whole entire process can take a long time. And a lot of times sometimes it's regulations, sometimes is the stakeholders don't understand it enough to be part of it. So a very good example is supply chain. So let's say from farm to table or supermarket, if there's somebody in the middle that do not want to participate in this supply chain application, then everything fails. So a lot of people think of blockchain, I think right now, is about crypto, as opposed to an application that's really can transform how we look at everything. But I think a lot of people still think, oh, crypto. I don't want to deal with crypto in that sense. So I think time will tell. That's sorry. Time will when there's more applications around, people understand it a little bit better, and the adoption will be a little bit faster.
So thanks, Tommy. We are at the end of the session. Any concluding part you want to make it?
Yeah. I think a good read is what I'm sharing on screen is why blockchain applications fail and how we can help make that not fail. We're trying to make everything a little bit easier for everybody to take advantage of, and this, typically I think with people that are trying to develop this application, they'll be able to relate to this really easily.
Okay, let's everyone. Thank you for joining this session. Thanks, Tommy, for a pretty insightful uh, speech on the settlement, how it will help in the development process, how it will help developers make better decisions on the development part.
All right, thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining. We will be back in 10 minutes.
Welcome.